I forgot to put myself in the show. Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday evening. My gosh, the weather sure has changed, hasn't it? Hope everyone's doing well. Got some good news for tonight and some things to take a look at and talk about. Um, I don't have a lot to talk about tonight, so we'll see how long this goes. It may not go for the full hour. It's hard to say. And I'm not set up, excuse me, I'm not set up for a call-in show tonight, so we're not going to be doing that. Anyway, this is our first show in October, so let me say happy birthday to everybody that's born in the month of October. This is a very interesting month. It's really the first month of fall, so happy birthday. Okay, there we go. And so let's launch into this little segment before we go too far here. So welcome to everyone that's with me tonight. Please say hi in the chat. Yeah, please say hi in the chat so that I can say hi back. We can get a little dialogue going, maybe. That'd be fun. So this morning I realized, so this is the update for me. This morning I realized that with the kind of the overcast and it was cool, and I felt sleepy. It's just, to me, this is sleepy weather. I'm not a big fan of the fall. It was nice to see, the clouds were textured. It wasn't just gray skies. I like blue skies, white clouds, fluffy clouds, or rain. If it's just flat gray, it's not good for me. So I was appreciative that the clouds had some texture this morning, and they finally burned off a little bit, but it's still quite cool. Let's see, what is it here? I'm going to pull up the weather. I'll be right back to you here for Sacramento, and let's go ahead and take a look at it and see what we might be getting in ourselves into here. Okay, let's see here. So it's 54 right now. So I'm thinking I'll probably open up my windows for the first time in a while because it is so cool out. But let's just take a look at the forecast here. So tomorrow it's going to be a high of 69. Quite cool. 11% chance of rain. Well, you never know, right? You never know. And then Saturday's going to have a 12% chance of rain. Partly cloudy. Monday, once again, it's back down to 69 high. Next Friday is going to be a little bit warm of 82. But we really are cooling off here. And look at this. Monday the 18th, looking at a 31% chance of rain. So we may get some rain in a couple of weeks here. See if I can find here's the radar. Let's check this out here. Radar. So, check that out. So there's a little bit of rain up here to our east. Weather has begun. So that's kind of exciting, right? Kind of exciting. You just never know, what a day is going to bring. The weather's changing. So it's time to, find my umbrella, find my beanie, wear my gloves, and just get ready. Do I need to maybe purchase anything new for winter? Maybe I need a new sweater. I have a sweater. It's really old. It's got holes. I might need a new sweater. We'll see. It's funny, buying clothes. When I go into the store to buy clothes and I'm just looking at clothes on the rack or whatever, I have a hard time deciding. I really have to try them on. Once I've tried them on and I can see what they look like on me, then then I have an easier time making a purchase. And I think the last time I went shopping, nobody was allowed in the dressing room, so you couldn't try anything on. Um, just, so I had a hard time shopping. I ended up not buying any shirts or sweaters because I got to try them on. So, yeah. So again, welcome this evening, this cool Thursday evening with It Feels Like Rain. And we're definitely headed into the fall season. So it's kind of interesting. Now, if I had a fireplace, maybe, I don't know, might be different, but the fall season is just not fall, winter. Spring's okay. It brings with it a lot of allergies, but I like spring better than fall, and I can't wait for winter to be over. So that's how I am. Anyway, let's take a look at here. I was listening to some podcasts that nationally we're doing really good with COVID cases. It's still way too high. It's like 100,000 new cases a day, but it's like 50% less than it was a week ago. So let's take a look and see what Sacramento County looks like. It's really encouraging. Really encouraging. Here we go. And there we are. So if you remember, a week ago, I saw this little uptick right here to September 29th, huh? There's that uptick. But then cases started coming down again. So we are back to July, end of July, beginning of August levels, right? That's kind of where we're at right now. We're coming on the downswing, and ICU patients is on the down. So there's very, very encouraging. Way too high still. So it's no time to let up, but very encouraging. Continue masking and distancing and just, being cognizant of one's surroundings. And I really have a hope that we're going to get through this. There is an anticipation that we may see an uptick in the winter. If you look over here, a year ago, and we had a downswing here in October, see? And then sort of a plateau. And then looks like in late November, actually November 5th, is when it started shooting up like a rocket. So we may be seeing a downtrend right now. We may see a calm, and then it may shoot up again in November. It's something to watch out for. We don't get our hopes up too high, but it sure does look good right now. So that's very, very, very encouraging. And there's lots of news in regards to kids getting the viruses. That's really good. People are starting to get their booster shots. People that are vulnerable, seniors, people that are immunocompromised are getting their booster shots. And it's everybody's choice. And I'll just, put it out there one more time that I'm going to wait until the rest of the world has an opportunity to get at least one vaccine, right? And then I'll start looking at maybe the booster. But I don't feel real good about taking a third shot when a lot of people don't even have one, and they really want it badly. Some good news is that Merck has come out with a pill. It still has not been approved yet, but it is to mitigate the virus once you have contracted it. So if you are at the early stages of COVID-19, and if you're in a population that is at risk, higher risk, then there's a pill that's available that will help to squash the virus in your system. So that's really encouraging, right? We've always had the what are they called? So you get a blood transfusion. I forget what it's called. I know what it's called. I just don't remember. We've had that for a while. But now we've got this other pill. So things are looking up. We just have to keep trucking on, keep on keeping on, as they say. So that's pretty cool. To change the subject a little bit, this evening I had a little bit of a meltdown. So when I started getting set up, I waited until, I went out to have some dinner at a little after 5. And I got home around 6:30, started getting ready. And as I'm getting ready, one of the things that I use is something called OBS, and I forget what it stands for, but it helps me to work with the colors on, as they appear in the show. And the minute I loaded it, it said, "Do you want to update?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?" Update, updated. And I got a message from my Logic Pro. It said, "Can't find the driver." And what that meant was that my interface, my audio interface, was not connecting to my computer. So I'm like, okay. So I went in all the settings, and it was just stuck. And I went online and I Googled it, and had all, everybody had these suggestions, right? And I'm trying all this stuff and it's not working, and I can't get any audio into the show. And I'm like, oh, am I going to have to cancel? And I thought, you know what? Something that almost always works for me. And that's to close the program and then relaunch it. Guess what? That worked. Yay! So as far as I know, you can hear me. I hope you can hear me. If you can't hear me, please put a message in the comments saying, "Hey, we can't hear you, Chris." That'd be a bummer. Here I am talking, watching my mouth move and no sounds coming out. That would be a serious bummer. That'd be a serious bummer. What can I say? I mean, it looks like it. When I go, one of the things that I can do is I can take a look at my camera and my microphone, and I can see that the audio levels are moving. It's moving. So it looks like it's got sound, but gosh, who knows? I hope so. Anyway, so I think at about 7 minutes to showtime, I got everything dialed in and was able to relax before the show started. So that was cool. One of the things that I want to share tonight is I was eating dinner. I was looking at the news, and this is something that I'd heard about. I saw a video about waste and fraud in Afghanistan. But tonight, I was reading an article on CNN. So I thought I want to share this with you real quick. This little article. And, it's every once in a while I'll see a meme or something that says, when it comes to war and it comes to the Department of Defense, we have almost like a bottomless checkbook, right? But when it comes to taking care of the people of this country, whether it's healthcare or housing or whatever it is, there's no money, right? So here's this article, and I'm going to, I'm going to take me off the screen so we can see the whole thing here. There we go. See the whole thing, and I'm going to take my little icon off of there. My life and welcome to it. There you go. There you go. It's been nice, but it needed to go. And anyway, check it out. Hundreds of billions of dollars were spent by the U.S. in Afghanistan. Here are 10 of the starkest examples of waste, fraud, and abuse. Now, I haven't added this up, but it's a lot of money. And we're not going to watch the video. Okay, but check this out. So we're just going to scroll down here. The total cost of the war, look at that, $2 trillion. Whew. The Inspector General said that the $145 billion reconstruction effort lacked oversight. And I think as we get into it, you'll say that's a Understatement. Here we go. Kabul's winter blanket. They built a power plant. It was commissioned in 2007. It cost $335 million to build. It had an estimated annual fuel cost of $245 million, and it was only used at 2.2% capacity because the government could not afford the fuel. So we built this thing for $335 million, and then they only used it at 2.2% capacity. Yeah, there it is. Okay, number 2, a $500 million fleet of cargo planes that flew for a year. So here they bought all these planes. They were cargo planes, and but if I remember right, they were used. They weren't. We didn't build them new, and they only flew for about a year. 6 years after the procurement was launched, the 16 aircraft delivered to Afghanistan were sold for scrap for $40,000 and $40,257. And so the cost of the project was $549 million. So they didn't even get close. Here's another fun one. $36 million Marines headquarters in the desert. Nobody wanted and nobody used. You know, look at that. $36 million. Nobody wanted it and nobody used it. And the Afghans later stripped it. How about them apples? Wow. Oh my gosh. Here we go. $28 million on an inappropriate camouflage pattern. So apparently, when we were training Afghan soldiers, we gave them the choice. We said, you know, you guys choose the type of camouflage that you want. And I'm surprised they don't have a picture. Let's see if they've got a picture of it. No, they don't have a picture of it. And what they picked, I've seen it. What they picked was the green jungle camouflage. Now, Afghanistan doesn't have a jungle. It's a desert, right? And there's desert camouflage. But did they pick that? No, they picked the jungle one. It was totally inappropriate and it didn't work. And yeah, it cost us an extra $28 million to buy the uniform with the patented pattern. Say that real quick. Yeah. And if they'd have picked a better pattern, that would have saved us $72 million over the next 10 years. Wow. Look at this. $1.5 million daily on fighting the opium production. Which, I mean, that's great, right? That's a good thing, right? Okay, look at this. We spent $1.5 million a day, right, on counter narcotics. And opium production was up in 2020 by 37% compared to the year before. What? Oh, man. What happened? I don't know, but we weren't doing a very good job. We weren't doing a very good job at all. Here we go. Here's another one. $249 million on an incomplete road. Unbelievable. The road to nowhere. And it's just the waste. It's just, how about check this one out. An $85 million hotel that never opened. The buildings were never completed and are uninhabitable. Oh my goodness. The audit concluded the contractor made unrealistic promises to secure the loans, and that the branch of the U.S. government who oversaw the project never visited the site. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Here's a fund that spent more on itself than it did in Afghanistan. Oh, man. How much did it spend? Okay, well, it set aside $823 million. That's almost $1 trillion. Yeah. $359 million was spent on indirect and support costs, not directly on projects in Afghanistan. 7 contracts worth $35.1 million were awarded to firms employing former staff and senior executives. Yeah, this is just really kind of upsetting. Here's a healthcare facility in the sea. What? Wait, what? Oh, it's even worse. A 2015 report said that over a third of the 510 projects that had been given coordinates for did not exist in those locations. 13 were not located in Afghanistan, with 1 located in the Mediterranean Sea. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And who is going to be held accountable for this? I have no idea. Is anybody? I don't know. And here's the last thing here. At least $19 billion was lost to waste, fraud, and abuse. So I think someone once said that, war is good for business. War is good for business. So I saw that, couldn't believe it. Wanted to share it with you guys. It's mind-boggling. And yet, when it comes to getting things done in this country and spending money, they don't want to do it. No one wants to do it. So sad, so sad, so sad. So we heard this evening at about 5:30 Pacific time that Congress had finally, the Senate passed a temporary debt ceiling bill so that the government will not default on the money that it already owes to pay. Now it goes to the House. We've got 2 weeks. We got about 2 weeks to go before we default. So the House has to pass it, and then it goes to the president's desk for signature. So we're cutting it close. Because tomorrow's Friday, and I don't know, do they take Fridays off? Do they work on Fridays? I don't know. It may not happen till Monday. We'll see. And they've, from what I understand, is that a whole bunch of Republicans signed on so that they could break the filibuster on this. And I think a lot of the reasoning around it was so that they'd have more time to focus on the infrastructure bill that's being held up right now, the Build Back Better. It's going nowhere right now. Absolutely nowhere. So I don't have a lot of hope. I have a feeling we're not going to see either bill. There's the bipartisan bill that's $1.something billion. And then there's the mega $3.5 trillion bill. And I don't think we're going to see either one of them. I honestly don't. I don't think that they're going to get it together. I don't think they can do it. It's one of the saddest moments in American governance. I don't know if it's the saddest moment, but it's one of them, where they can't get it together enough to at least get one of the bills passed. Very sad. Very, very sad. And I get it, the progressives want to use the leverage that they have to try to get this massive bill passed. There's talk that they may be bringing it down to like $2.9 trillion. But still, if Joe Manchin is the touchstone here, he has said nothing more than 1.7. So, that's the fight right now. They're still working on it. And hopefully once the House, and I've got a comment, I'll get to it in a second. Once the House passes the debt ceiling bill and the president signs it, they're going to refocus on this other thing. Gosh, I hope they can get it done. So, and hey, Cheryl. Yeah, what a mess. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard to, I don't know, a ship with holes. So we're just going to keep watching. So that's kind of, everything that I'm sort of keeping an eye on. There's lots of stuff moving. The Texas federal judge has put a hold on the abortion law that Texas passed. And so now I'm sure it's going to be appealed, and that'll probably go all the way back up to the Supreme Court again. When the Supreme Court comes back into session, there are some major bills that they're going to be looking at. And so there's going to be a lot just to look at, to keep our eyes on the ball. And it's hard, there's so much in life that's going on in our personal lives. It's hard to stay focused on what's happening in the country or the state, even our county and city government. I was talking to someone, I think just this morning, all the new building that's going on downtown, it's all over the place, and it's all market rate. The city keeps talking about they want to do something in regards to the housing crisis, and yet we continue to build housing that's unaffordable for a lot of people who've lived here for decades. I was talking to a friend of mine. He owns a coffee shop downtown. We were talking about the housing situation because there's a new housing project. It's an apartment building. It's going up close to where his business is. And we were talking about it, and it's all market rate. And I was saying, part of the problem is that we have an inflated median income average, right? Here in Sacramento, because so many people have moved here from the Bay Area, and some have even come up from LA that have higher incomes because they still work in San Francisco and LA. They don't work here in Sacramento. So they've got these inflated incomes that they're basing the real estate market on for an average median income. And it's just not right. It's just not right. And so those of us who've lived here for decades are finding it challenging to find places that are affordable. And Sacramento's not doing anything about building affordable housing at all. At least I'm not aware of it. So I don't know. It's very sad. It's very sad. I was reading an article just recently about clearing the Caltrans cleared some encampments, and the people just moved a couple of blocks away and set up camp again. It's just, corporations are driving the market, paying top dollars. That's some of it. Yeah, that's a lot of it. But, if you look at, back in the day when I was working on the DAC, and we would have meetings with the housing department. I don't think that's what it was called, but that's what I'm going to call it. When they, especially with SHRA, when they fix subsidies, right, it's a certain percentage of the area median income. And as that area median income goes up, so does that percentage. And so, like people that live in let's say San Francisco, the poverty level can be $100,000, right? And so it's very difficult. It's getting more and more difficult with these higher wages coming into town. And yeah, is it Brownstone that went around and bought up a bunch of housing during the last housing crisis, turned them all into rentals? They're not even owned by private individuals. They're owned by corporations. Yeah, and then they just set their own prices. So, yeah, it's tough. So, and it's sad. I was out this morning and handing out bagged meals to our homeless guests that live in the downtown area. And, it's getting cold and it's getting dark and rain is on the horizon. And ways to get off the street are becoming fewer and far between. So I'm concerned, and we'll just have to see how things play out as we as we move into colder, wetter, and darker weather, right? So, but I'm doing okay. I hope you all are doing okay. Let me know how you're doing out there. Um, I've for now, got a roof over my head. I got heat, so I can be dry and warm, and I can still afford to buy food. Maybe not the best. I could probably afford better food than what I'm eating, but I'm not interested. But I did see an article, and it had to do with health, and it had to do with fighting things like COVID-19, and it had to do with your internal health, your biome. Biome, is that what they call it? A biome? It's that internal flora and fauna, your bacteria that lives inside your digestive tract, and has a lot to do with your health. And eating has a lot to do with the type of things that are the bacteria and everything that's in there. So the better we eat, the better internal biome we have. I think that's what it's called. So who knows? I mean, I don't know. Maybe. But in any event. So if you haven't noticed, episode 1 of season 3 of My Life and Welcome to It, the podcast, has been out for about a week. And at the last count, there have been 9 times it has been listened to. Mine was one of them. So 8 other people besides myself have listened to it. And it's kind of funny, when I was running the podcast, it's gone all over the world, right? And probably someone just stumbled on it, listened to it for about a minute, and then turned it off. And it still registers, right? So having that long downtime, when I relaunched it, now I'm getting a real sense of how many people are actually listening to it. And right now I'm at 9. So that's good for me to know, puts it in a better perspective. And hopefully I'm going to record episode 2 sometime tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Yeah, we'll see. Just more of my life, what I'm doing. And this season 3 is called Seeking God's Face. Episode 1 was just general stories of my life. Season 2 was called Chasing After God. I spent 20 years exploring various spiritual traditions and practices. And then season 3 now is Seeking God's Face, as I've entered the Roman Catholic Church and what's happening in that regard, and how I'm bringing that 20-year experience with me, because truth is truth, right? And so if it's true, it should be able to, cross the divide, cross the Tiber, as they say. So that's pretty much what season 3 is going to be about. That's what I'm thinking anyway. So I have come to the end of my thoughts for this evening. We're starting to see people showing up in choir. That's good. People that have taken some time off are starting to slowly come back into choir. So that's fun every Wednesday night. And my lungs are coming back, my capacity is coming back up so that I can sing longer phrases and not get all winded. And so that's great. That's great. So that's a good thing. And it helps break up my week. I've got things that I do during the week that help keep things moving along, and I don't get bored. But that's one, and it's always been a big joy for me to spend time singing. So I hope everyone is taking care of themselves, being nice to yourself and others. We're all in this together, and without you, there's no us. And it's about us as we travel this journey called life together, various stages of it, and all the changes of it. Change doesn't seem to stand still. Nowadays, it seems to be going faster and faster. So be kind and good and gentle, patient. All the virtues are just so important these days. Seeing people get in fights over going to a restaurant and just little things. People are so on edge. We just need to take a deep breath, slow ourselves down, right? Life's too short to be angry. So I wish everyone well. Hope you have a great week. We've got, what do we got this month? We've got Halloween coming up. Is that what we got coming up? Halloween? So that'll be interesting to see handle Halloween as we're coming out of COVID. I know a lot of the kids are getting back into school, and but that's got its own problems, right? We're seeing a spike in COVID cases with school children, and I've got a lot of friends that are pulling their kids out of school. So we'll see how that all plays for Halloween. We may have an indoor Halloween again. I don't know. But yeah, I've got a retirement party that I was invited to at the end of the month. So that's kind of exciting. Hopefully our downward trend in COVID cases will continue, and I'll feel really good about going to it. But I know the people, and they're very conscious about making sure everyone feels safe and comfortable. So there'll even be an outdoor space if possible, right? Anyway, this has been good to connect. Oh, very important. And I'll put this out. But there will be no show next week unless I do a pre-recorded one. I've got a meeting I have to go to next Thursday evening at 7, so there will be no live stream. But if I get around to pre-recording something, I'll do so. So there's still something if you want to watch it. You got nothing else to do on a Thursday evening. You know, I had a great big beer at dinner time. Now I'm burping like there was a gas shortage somewhere. Speaking of gas shortage, how about that spill? Something else we can talk about some other time. But there's so much going on in the world, so much to pay attention to, and our lives are quite busy. So until next time, I trust you all be well, and God bless you all.